John.
So I know what you're all thinking right now. You're thinking, oh no, it's the civility guy. He ruins all of our fun. And to that I say, maybe. But as the nuns in Catholic school used to say when they're about to whack you with a ruler, this is for your own good. Now, some of you business owners might be saying, John, I'm a nice person. I treat my employees civilly. Great. But how about when you're stressed? Or better yet, what about your other leaders in your organization or your employees when you're not around and they get stressed? How do they treat each other? And ultimately, how do they treat your clients? Because stress in the workplace can create uncivil workplaces, which ultimately lead employees to feel demotivated, disconnected, and to see a decline in their productivity, which ultimately leads to diminished profits for the business and can even lead to the demise of the business. Now you might be saying, oh John, you're exaggerating. Well, let me give you an example. A few years ago, on a Friday night, my partner and I decided to go to a new restaurant that had recently opened to great acclaim. We arrived at the restaurant and we were greeted by someone who turned up as the owner. She was funny, friendly, had a great sense of humor and an infectious laugh, and she talked quite animatedly about how excited she was to have opened this restaurant. We wished her well, ordered our meals. I grabbed my exciting beverage for a Friday night of a water from the cooler, and we headed on out to the far side of the patio where we were going to have a seat to await our meals to be delivered. So we were seated for maybe 90 seconds when I suddenly became aware of a disturbance on the patio. Someone was yelling, and they were pointing. It was the owner. She was yelling and pointing at me. I don't know who you think you are, but where I come from, if you take something without paying for it, it's stealing, and I won't have it in my business. So let's stop here. Gang, I'm a mindfulness practitioner, and I teach people mindfulness, have done so for 25 years. So you would expect I would respond to the situation like Deepak Chopra or Eckhart Tolle, who are reportedly unflappable. But if I told you that, this would not be a true story. Because John here does not like to be falsely accused or someone's effort to publicly humiliate me. Back to our story. I'm sorry, I didn't know your employee had not rung up this water. It's not my responsibility to supervise them, and quite frankly, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I continued to sputter at her back as I followed her into the restaurant and I paid the $1.50 for the water. So you all might be thinking, see, you left immediately, John, right? Well, no, I'm a frugal New Englander, okay? I'm gonna stay and get my money's worth, which I did. And the food was delicious. But when we left the restaurant that day, we knew we were never going back. And that patio, there were all kinds of people who witnessed that interaction. And guess what? Probably most of them didn't go back either. Because that restaurant closed a few months later. Why? Because that owner's stress-related negative behavior of incivility got the best of her and destroyed her business. Now all of you might be thinking, poor woman, she's got stress-related negative behaviors. Here's your newsflash. We all do. What are some of yours or your employees, and how are they affecting your business? Investing in a lower stress work environment can pay dividends such that you're not concerned about your business not surviving, but instead can glean the reward of your business thriving.